We all know there's a ton of history in downtown Corpus Christi, but have you ever been at your favorite spot and wondered what it was before it was your favorite hangout? Well, House of Rock has a ton of history. It was built in 1910 and it was owned by a man named Maxwell P. Dunne. It was actually the first funeral home and morgue in Nueces County. Could it be haunted? Let's find out. What's the history on this place?
So basically this building was built in 1910.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first ever Maxwell P. Dunne Funeral Home in Nueces County.
Mm-hmm.
As we all know, Maxwell P. Dunne is still around today.
Yeah.
It's being run by many of his family members.
Well, Maxwell P. Dunne was actually born September 6th of 1881. Later on, he actually was an appliance salesman.
Mm-hmm.
He had taken a trip in 1905 to Houston, Texas, and had met J.B. Earthman, who was a mortician and an embalmer, which Maxwell P. Dunne was very interested in.
Sure.
So he became an apprentice for Mr. Earthman, and learned it, got his license, and decided where's the best place to take this business. But here in the coastal bend, because there was nothing here like that. We didn't have a mortician. We didn't even have a funeral home.
So what did they do before there were funeral homes and morticians?
Well, actually, the family would, a deceased person, they would be bathed, cleaned up.
Wow.
And they would be laid to, in the home where the family is. And then right after the service they'd have inside the home, they would be immediately taken and placed to rest.
Interesting. Wow.
He started his own business. And he was the first one to bring a horse-drawn hearse and a horse-drawn ambulance here to the coastal bend. In 1916, he actually motorized everything. He was the very first motorized hearse and motorized ambulance. And I think it was in 1948 when he passed away.
So you just imagine one person doing all this. I mean, that's a lot of things going on.
A one-man show. Yep.
With the basement being the morgue, and the morgue is not that big, so you can imagine just where he had to store all the bodies.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, another question too that comes to mind is that we had the 1919 hurricane, which was September 14th of 1919, and then we had the 1933 hurricane that flooded the area in the downtown area. How far did the floodwaters go, and was actually some of these bodies stored down here in
down there? Yeah.
I always wondered too, though, is when they opened up the bluff tunnels, like, did they use any of those tunnels to like move around bodies and stuff? Because it was just
the ones that are all closed now.
Right, they're closed, and they connect to hotels and underneath a lot of the buildings and stuff downtown. So I mean, I can just imagine. Yes, they were used mainly for shopping and stuff, but once they closed to the public or closed in general, the business is still using them for different things.
Exactly. Yeah. And with one man, you can keep a lot of secrets. And what's happening in a place like this, right?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Wow. Well, I'm curious to see what we come up with.
We'll see.
So am I.
It's going to be a night, guys.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, guys, we are getting set up. We're getting ready to go dark. Remember that we are live streaming on Facebook and YouTube tonight. You can see it on South Texas Haunts or Corpus Christi Spook Central. We're at the House of Rock in Corpus Christi, Texas. So we were going to get ready to go lights down, organize ourselves, and
we're going to keep the live feed up. We'll be able to break in where there's investigating going on, and they'll get to see investigating, hear stuff, and hopefully if you capture anything, Facebook, YouTube, make sure to comment below. We'll be monitoring the chat throughout the night as we're investigating.
So this was the morgue. This is tiny. Yeah, but once these lights are out, it's going to be a little tricky. I think we'll be all right.
Since there's been movement on the bar, I built that myself. I'm going to put this over there. Okay. That's not supposed to happen.
Where's it at?
It's over there on the bar. tell the other two? Might put one.
There's one on that stage.
Okay. Huh. That's not supposed to happen.
Where's it at?
It's over there on the bar.
I told y'all stuff happens on that bar and nobody's listening to me.
That bar's a big.
It has to have energy to make it go off. It was just going off on its own.
There's
I
energy.
told y'all stuff slides on that bar all the time.
The basic theory behind a REM pod or a touch is that the antenna needs energy to break that plane for it to sound off.
Right.
So it's sitting over there on the bar. Something has to go around that antenna. See, if I turn this on, I just set it down. There's nothing around it. But as I get closer,
Right.
see, I gotta touch it. So the question you have to ask yourself is, why is that going on? It's not touching it. Is there anybody down here tonight with us? Would like to make their presence known? You get over here almost down the steps.
Yeah. Change my filter. In the basement?
Now, I know when I was over there, I heard a voice.
Over here?
Yes, that's why I'm not sitting over there. I want to see if you hear it.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to tell you what it sounded like. But when Mike and I were down here, this one corner, it would get real dark and then get real light. And we experienced one other thing over there, but I'm not going to tell you.
Okay. Can you tell me if you're a man or a woman?
Hold on a second.
You guys, take the chat just a little bit. We can still hear you guys down here.
Why are you still here? Why would you want to stay here? Can you make some kind of noise? Anything? Just let us know that you're here.
Hey,
Yeah.
do you want me to leave you alone down here and go up? So you can just see just one person down here?
No, we can alternate.
All right.
Mike,
Yeah.
come here, please.
Yeah.
I want you to see if you feel what I feel. Go back behind.
Okay.
Do you feel the cool air?
That's the same thing Mike and I were experiencing.
Really?
It was right here too. If you go back on the other footage, I was sitting right here, and Mike was right here, and I kept feeling like something cool right here, and then right from behind him we heard a voice.
You push something across the floor, knock something over.
I heard a hi. It was like, hi. But it came from back
Behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, so I guess I'm gonna go sit in the other main bar area and see if I can get anything. So let's go see. Is that someone?
Yeah.
I know it takes a lot of energy to come through the spirit portal. But try to come as close to us as possible, and I want you to scream. Scream as loud as you can.
Okay.
You can do that too. That lets us know you're here.
That works wonderful.
A little closer, come on, scream. Scream your name, tell us who you are.
I know that took a lot of energy to make that light up and make that noise for us, and we greatly appreciate that. We just want to know your name.
Kate, I heard things.
Hi, Kate. Thank you so much for that. Were you here during the hurricane of 1919? And what's kind of interesting is that the whole time we were on the ghost box, Kate kept coming through.
Yeah.
Like, that was a conversation we kept having with an individual named Kate. So basically at the House of Rock, we really didn't get any video evidence, unfortunately. I thought we might, but unfortunately we didn't. But we did capture some pretty unique things on audio. We'll go over what we found in the basement first. The first EVP, I'll let you listen to it, and then... So it's basically saying, check back or back up.
Can you turn it up a little bit? Yeah, it sounds like check back up or something.
Back up.
Yeah.
Laura, what do you hear?
Check something.
Yeah.
So, and that's probably when you and Mike and
downstairs.
Allie were downstairs.
When we were downstairs, Mike and I kept hearing whispers. We were all the way over, I guess, where there's like a pallet or something. We were sitting right there. And from behind us, there was a stairwell that leads up to the back alley. And we kept hearing whispers. But, you know, of course, we had the GoPro on. We didn't capture it.
We also got something when you and Mike were down there again. And you guys were actually having a conversation about the flood. You asked about the 1919 flood. And then that's when this came across.
Hey, Mike. Bring the arrow over here real quick. Shine it up.
It sounds French.
It's real soft. And this was after you guys had asked about the flood, and then he walked over, I believe, to the stairwell and was trying to get you to see a shadow under the stairwell.
Well, he kept saying he saw something, and I never saw it, of course. But, you know, play that again real quick.
Hey, Mike. Bring the arrow over here real quick. Shine it up.
It sounds like Latin. Like it's kind of like a French accent to it.
Yeah, so it's very low, but it's there. And the last one we were able to get in the basement was, it's a whisper.
Can you tell me how you died? Okay, I heard a whisper.
So did I.
Yeah, I remember being down there.
There's a male voice.
I remember being down there, but I couldn't make it out. I can hear the whisper, but I still can't really make out what it's saying.
What I think it's saying is, I don't know.
Can you tell me how you died?
It's right there.
Okay, I heard a whisper.
It's almost like a deep breath, and then it says something.
There's a male voice.
Well, the basement, it didn't really creep me out. Like I said, Mike and I heard whispers down there, but I didn't really see anything other than that, you know, or experience anything other than that down in the area.
What about you, Laura? You were somebody else who was in the
Right,
basement.
so that's what I was going to say. I mean, we sat down by the stairwell, also in the back, and was doing it. But the whole time I was down there, I felt like there was somebody behind me. So I kept looking back like there was, but I didn't see anything. And then while me and Mike were down there, we got really hot. Like the air got suffocating, and it got really heavy. Like it felt like I don't know, like a fire was down there. So we were getting really hot. But I mean, that was what we were experiencing.
So the whole somebody behind you was something that you and Mike and you and your mom both experienced down there.
And I noticed that, but I never had told Mike what Mom and I experienced. I never told Mom what Mike and I experienced until after the investigation. But like I said, the two separate instances, we both heard whispers, and it was pretty much the same area.
Right.
But as far as like any other experiences, I never had anything else down there.
I find it not funny, but interesting that everybody felt somebody standing or feeling that something was behind them the entire time. So it's almost like maybe something was there, but not wanting to show their appearance or say that they were there, but they were interested in the fact that we were there.
Yeah.
Right.
So this one here is basically the sidebar that we set out, and that sidebar was the one closest to the stage.
And that's the one we got a lot of the hits on the Ghost
Box, right. And some of these EVPs we consider them EVPs, are actually come off of the ghost box. So this one here is actually when we ask a name.
Okay, yeah. Now you can even hear me saying I heard it. Yeah.
Right. It's kind of interesting is the whole time we were on the ghost box, Kate kept coming through.
Yeah.
Like that was a conversation we kept having with an individual named Kate.
You can hear dead bodies.
Right. And we got that not once, but 3 different times. Kate, are you alone?
My name's Michael. Can somebody else tell us your name?
We got another name.
What is your name?
And it's real low, and it's right after you ask.
Yeah.
What is your name? It says.
What is your name?
Yeah, it's real soft. It's super soft, but you can hear it's a female voice saying
Right.
Lucy.
She's just like Lucy.
Right, like I'm Lucy, that's who I am. What is your name?
And that was pretty clear.
Right, and so what's interesting about this is, are they saying the names of an investigator or one of the camera crew?
That's true.
Or are they saying their name
Their
is
name,
Mike?
yeah.
Because we had 2 Mikes with us that night that were investigating and filming.
Yeah.
And yes, we're asking the name, but they could have taken that as, what is one of our names? Because that was a question we asked earlier, was can you say one of our names?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. What is your name?
And that came across really clear on
Right.
the ghost box, yeah.
So this was actually on one of the voice recorders. I believe that was left out upstairs by itself, that we just let it run all night long. And it actually comes across when we're having a conversation, and it's asking us to tell it our name.
Yeah. It's real quick.
Right, and it was in the middle of a conversation. So
Yeah.
we were conversating and it came up. So this one here, titled Unknown Bank.
Yeah, you're ignoring it now that you're not giving them attention.
Now they want to. Well, I mean, I guess we can be, I guess.
And of course, no one heard it.
Right,
Yeah.
that wasn't, because if we would have heard it, somebody would have said something.
Well, that's actually your voice there, talking, and you didn't.
Right.
You didn't.
Yeah, you're ignoring it now that you're not giving them attention.
Now they want to. Well, I mean, I guess we can be, I guess.
And that was right before we started kind of the ghost box session. And normally when you just have a general conversation,
Yeah.
something can happen.
Right.
And that bang, none of us recognized, none of us said anything. And what's kind of strange is we heard unknown bangs all night long.
Yeah.
You even had an experience.
Right at the end, after we pretty much shut down, and I was just looking at the video, and all of a sudden I heard the ice machine go off, and then a big loud bang after that. And that's when I stepped out and asked if anybody else was in the place with me, and y'all like, oh no honey, you're there by yourself. So at that point I went to go find out what was going on, and so
Yeah, and all the bangs seemed to come from left of the stage.
Yeah.
right, and that's what I was hearing.
At all times. So that's interesting too. So on this one, I want to know what you guys think you hear. I wasn't able to decipher anything.
And that voice comes through a couple of times.
Right.
But I can't make out what it's saying.
Right, it's the tone that you catch. It's that
Yeah.
male kind of tone.
Now this next EVP is one that I had captured on audio recorder, and you actually hear you talking to Mike. It's actually towards the end of the night. We're getting ready to wrap stuff up, and it actually repeats part of the word that you say. But if you listen to the tone, it kind of follows through all the rest of the EVPs that we kind of got through.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that sounds angry,
Right.
and it repeats rap.
Like it wants us to go.
Yeah.
Right. Which that seemed to be something that was pretty apparent most of the night towards the end. So stage area, this one was kind of exactly at the end of the night after the wrap. We were sitting up there, I believe it was Laura, myself, and Mike, and everybody else was outside. And we were kind of asking, hey, should we go downstairs to the ghost box, see what happens? And we got this EVP off the ghost box.
You can hear dead bodies.
Right.
Well, we had quite an interesting night here at House of Rock. I am officially creeped out, and we found some pretty hard evidence that spirits do in fact linger in this building with so much history. Now, if you don't believe yourself, you can come find out for yourself. Visit House of Rock and let us know what you think. We want to thank our friends at Corpus Christi Spook Central for guiding us through this experience. We'll see you next time on South Texas Haunts.